All right, everyone. How are y'all doing? This is So I Did a Thing. I am Chris Hennessy, where we talk about Ben Courier. Yeah, you should stay, bro. I don't know if you're still here or not, but you should definitely stay. Hey, Dan. We talk about all kinds of things. Like, there's absolutely no agenda most of the time. I just bring people on that are in my network, and we jam for a little bit. My guest tonight is Katie McManus. She's a business strategist and leadership coach. I was a guest on her live a couple of weeks ago, and it was like the story is just awesome. It's just an awesome, like LinkedIn friend love story or something. Because y'all may have seen the post where I talked about, we've been connected for a while, and it was just like minor or very minimal interaction between us. Usually I think I would comment or react if she was posting something about Luna, her dog. Um, and I lost my train of thought because I thought of something else. Anyway, um, my mind is squirreling right now, y'all. And she reached out one day out of the blue and was like, "Hey, I love your content. You want to come on live with me?" And I was like, "Yes, I do." So, and she left. Well, there she is. She was gone, then she was here. I was like, "Oh, maybe she won't be here. I don't know." So let's just bring Katie out before she leaves again.
I started getting the circle of death, and I'm like, "Oh no!"
Oh no, not the circle of death, please, not the circle of death. Let's say hey to everyone. There's a crap
Hi,
ton of people popping in.
hi, Christina. Hi, Ben. Hi, Silver Fox Talks. I love that.
All right, so I did something really weird.
What'd you do?
That's why my comments jacked up. Somehow or another, when the notification came across you were live, I clicked on it, so it went from my LinkedIn event to your LinkedIn event. So I'm steadily commenting. I'm going, something's not right. Anyway, so let's say hi. DJ is here. What is going on, DJ? She's another live stream producer. Christina is here. Thurston is here on your side.
Hi, Thurston.
Lauren Lefkowitz is here. She reached out to me
Lauren.
today. We've been connected for a while too, and she reached out of the blue and was like, "Hey, let's Zoom." So we're gonna meet next week.
Amazing.
I think you know this guy.
Mark and John. Yes, John. Hi.
I've got him on the list to be a guest on the show. I actually took my own advice, and instead of putting him on the schedule for 2 months out of the down the road, I put him on the list. Yep. Thank you, DJ. Jacob Roig is here. Ben Courier. Mark Shutter. I hope I'm saying your name right, man.
Mark.
Lisa Marie. We got a lot of folks here, man.
Yeah.
Jenny Gold. What's going on, Jenny? Are you ready? All right. I think we said hi to everybody.
I think so.
So, y'all, I'm pretty stoked. Like, I figured out today how to make animated backgrounds like this. So I'm like, that's part of the reason my mind is squirreling is I didn't have time to really mess around with it and try out the different ones. Let me show you the other one I did today too, just for giggles and grins.
Yeah.
That one's a little much though. That's kind of
yeah. I feel like we're in the inferno.
Yeah, no, like it's a little wild.
I need to get one with like dancing weenies in the background, like
ooh, I can make. I'll look and see if I can do that. That would be funny. Nailed it. Thanks.
I think it might be a little distracting though.
It might be a little distracting with dancing weenie. Actually,
one weenie like goes rogue and starts doing crazy moves, like a dance off between them all.
Yeah, right. So when my mind scrolled out a minute ago, really what it was like I commented on some of your posts, like with Luna, and then one that stuck out just because it was so off the wall for LinkedIn was when you had breast reduction surgery, and I was like,
yeah,
if she's gonna post this, like I got to comment on it. Like she's got huevos rancheros that are huge to be doing that. She had boobs that were huge, but now they're not. I don't know. Whatever it is, I'm commenting.
What's funny was that day I and I don't have these days very often, but you know how you post something and like no one comments on it? And I
Yes.
actually, and Leah Turner, like she's a friend of mine. So I messaged her. I'm like, oh my God, like what happened? I got no engagement. She's like, and then I came up with this one right after. And I think there was a lag between when she saw my message and she went and saw my post. She's like, oh, well, you mentioned nipples. And I was like, oh no, that's not the post I was talking about. I deleted her first post. And that post, like I got so much engagement. I got a lot of people. I actually got a lot of women reaching out to me, asking me to talk about breast reduction and if I would recommend it. And
And my first thought whenever I saw that was asking, let me say what Dan, let me highlight Dan real quick. You're right. I'm big timing now because I got for Katie freaking McManus. You were absolutely right. Yep, pulling above my weight with this guest. I know it. It's kind of one of those dream moments. Next stop's Leah Turner, y'all. Did you get any creepers off of that post though?
No one.
That is awesome.
Not one creeper.
Like, some of those dudes see a post like that and it's like a trigger for them to like, oh, she's talking about boobs. I'm going to DM her. You know what I mean?
No,
that is awesome.
Yeah, no. I don't know what energy I put out, but I get very few creepers these days. And I think people kind of get that I'm no bullshit and like I'll probably call them out if they're a dick to me.
Yeah.
So, and I've been very open about I'll call your boss. I've called people.
Yeah, right.
I have actually gotten people fired for being very inappropriate on LinkedIn, and I don't mess around. And I think there's just some energy I'm putting out in the world that they don't bother me anymore.
Yeah.
So there you go.
You kind of have to be like that. I know with the creepers.
Yeah, but I mean, maybe they were also like, oh, her boobs aren't that big anymore. Okay.
Never mind. Oh, I don't know how I do know how we got on that, but this conversation went south or north really quick. So this is So I Did a Thing, y'all. Welcome. Yeah, feed them to the fishes. Exactly. She kind of has that vibe, right? Like go to the mattresses. Somebody's going to wake up with a horse head in their sheets when you mess with her.
You live in Philadelphia. It is a top mob.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, it is kind of, you are on that Eastern Seaboard up there where it's, I got a mob story.
Do you?
Yeah, well, sort of. It's not my story, but it's a friend of mine. He's older. He's probably 65, and he is from New York. And he didn't know it until about 5 years ago. But his grandfather, when they came over from Sicily, he didn't immigrate over here. He came over here to run the family.
Oh.
And they kept that from him. His dad did not get involved with the family.
Right.
And so they didn't tell the grandkids till they got older, and he saw something and they told him about it and he started researching it and he was like, oh my God, my whole family's a bunch of criminals, man. Like it was rough stuff.
Oh my God.
But the fact that they sheltered that from him was like crazy.
Yeah. I mean, how? I guess.
I know, like exactly.
You didn't have the internet back then.
No. I mean, he's 65, so that would have been like back in the 50s or in the 50s when he was born. So, it's crazy. They will never die. Leave the gun, take the cannoli every time.
No, I've actually never seen The Godfather. I've never seen any of those movies.
I've seen the first two. He actually lent them to me because he knows the guy that wrote the Godfather books.
Well, yeah.
Somehow. Yeah, I know he's connected. So the running joke is like whenever like he's retired and he works like part-time at Walmart in the sporting goods section. But when he has a problem, the joke is, Carl, are you going to call New York? Do they need to call? They're going to come down here and handle it. You know what I mean?
We're going to go on a little tour. Luna has a ball underneath something, and she's going to keep barking until I fix it. So, okay. Luna, come here. Oh, Jesus.
Dan, that is not far off. It's usually water or a Sprite Zero, actually.
Oh God, just knocking things over. She doesn't understand. Okay. All right, here we go. Back.
back.
So, okay. So yeah. So, everyone's safe with me. I'm not connected to the mob. Just
Yeah,
so that you
she's
know.
not connected to the mob.
Not
Yeah.
connected to the mob. I have my own ways that everyone's terrified of. I'm not connected to the mob.
Right. So just get your ass fired. That's all. Don't worry about it. Oh, so let's reset the room. If y'all don't know Katie, I don't know really if you're doing LinkedIn right. She's all over the place. Her and Luna and the dancing weenie suit, and she's all over TikTok now. In the
Yeah.
dancing weenie suit.
Yeah, TikTok has been so much fun. I'm just now delving into it, and I'm having a fucking blast.
Are you?
It is so much fun. It's so creative, and like I kind of love acting. Even just lip syncing acting is just, I don't know. I think it's hysterical.
Yeah.
And there's so many talented people there.
Yeah.
It's mind blowing what people can do.
Are you getting any leads off of it yet?
So I just started a few weeks ago.
Okay.
Literally just started, and I'm working with this new marketing agency out of LA. They're the Alpha Collective Agency or Creative Agency. They're amazing, and they've been guiding me through it.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's brand new.
Yeah.
But my whole philosophy is like find one social media platform in your first year, hit it home with that. I've been on LinkedIn for about 2 years now. Been playing with Instagram since about May of last year. So now I'm branching out a little bit further.
Okay.
Yeah.
And just like this is something cool too. Like this is what sold you on switching from StreamYard to Restream is we're live on 8 different channels right now.
I know, this is so cool. StreamYard, you can't do this.
Katie has 5 channels she's live on right now.
Right.
And I've got 3.
Right.
And so for any of y'all that are thinking about getting into streaming, just think about that for a minute. You can come on, you can have a guest. And so I get exposure to Katie's network, and Katie gets exposure to my network because of that paired feature.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah.
And I have it's probably like 13,000 people that I'm connected to on my side, all of my spots that I'm streaming to. Like that's just incredible. And like the more the merrier.
Yeah, exactly.
And this is how you get introduced to people. And I don't know. I mean, we could probably invite a few more people onto stage and just grow the whole impact.
Yeah, right. You have not crossed the line into TikTok yet. I think you know Tanya too. She has not crossed the line into live streaming yet, but I think she's going to.
I think she will too. I hope so. She's got a lot to say. A lot to say. So yeah, you're exactly right, Thurston. That was kind of what it was all about. Like I'm not on TikTok, but it kind of was. It was girls dancing around, kind of like video Instagram, more or less. You know, girls dancing around in bikinis and people doing stupid stuff, and rednecks are us. I am not dancing around in a bikini. I'm far from it. I'm dancing around in a weenie costume.
But there are a lot, like people are seeing the potential for it, and there are a lot of legit businesses on there now doing TikToks and getting leads hand over fist.
Do you know who's doing TikToks for LinkedIn? You know, she's an actress. Did you ever watch that movie 10 Things I Hate About You?
Yeah, I loved it.
So you know Bianca's best friend, who at the very beginning, she has that whole conversation of like, I know you can be overwhelmed and I know you can be underwhelmed, but can you ever just be whelmed? You remember that?
Vaguely, yeah.
So that her best friend, she's like a grown-up now. She was in a pantsuit and she had short hair and she's middle-aged and she's doing these TikToks for LinkedIn. And it's just it just blew my mind. I'm like, I know her. Where do I know her from? I felt like I went to high school with her, but yeah, we did go to high school with her.
You did go to high school together because that was a movie of your like the movie of your childhood, right there.
Exactly. Yeah. So, what?
No, I was going to say. So, tell us a little bit about what you do and your approach to what you do.
Yeah. So I do business strategy and coaching, which is a very broad term for I get on the phone with a small business owner, usually who does a service-based business, like consulting, coaching, law services, copywriting. And I basically figure out what's their fastest path to cash. How can we get money coming in the door as soon as possible? And how do you build that consistent income without killing yourself in a lot of different areas? So it's finding a really elegant, simple marketing plan. It's designing a really compelling offer that's easy to understand, to explain and to understand, and coming up with really simple like payment processing systems. And then that's it. And then a lot of the rest of the stuff is like the panic attacks that my clients have and talking them off the edge when they're freaking out about like their success and little failures and all the things.
Yeah. And you do a really good job. Like the simplifying it, like was really an eye opener for me, because I was sitting here when I started this live streaming production thing, thinking that I was going to have, like a main package and then like all this a la carte stuff to add to it, and maybe mix and match. And so I got it down to 2.
Yeah.
Well, 3, counting the training package. And 2 production packages in it.
It's so tempting to want to give everyone all the options because you feel like you're being of service, right? You feel like you're giving them choices. But here's the thing. I told this to you when we talked on the phone, is a confused buyer never buys. And the best way to confuse someone is to have them do math. Right? And if you're giving them an a la carte menu, you're having them do a shit ton of math. And also they're not an expert in this. They don't necessarily know what on the menu is relevant to them.
Right.
And then they feel dumb. They're like, okay, well, I got to go. I'm going to go think about this. And then they never call you back. Luna,
that
stop
doesn't show up. Is DJ on Twitch? She's on Twitch. That's why. Those are Labradoodle. If you can probably see it over there on the right if you click on the chat.
I can. Oh, yeah. Luna, come here. Luna, you want to be on TV? Come on.
This is a vegetable eating dog, y'all. I don't know if y'all saw her video last week. The dog eats broccoli and zucchini. What else were you feeding her? Like carrots or something? Like raw? Like
carrots. She likes zucchini and broccoli and cauliflower. If I'm meal prepping and doing all the things, she'll sit there and bark at me until I give her something.
Really?
She'll have a full-on temper tantrum. And so like as I'm chopping it up, I give her the raw bits and she like kind of collects them on the carpet. And then I'll cook them. And as I'm cooking them and they're not available to beg for, she'll eat through the raw stuff. Luna, stop barking at me. And then once everything's out of the oven, then she, gets her cooked stuff. I actually cook vegetables for her and me for the week.
Really?
So it's part of her diet. Yeah. we're just eat clean.
So do you feed her any kind of like prepackaged dog food, or do you do it all?
Yeah, no, I get her kibble, but then I'll cook some chicken for her. She gets like 2 ounces of cooked chicken with her kibble and some hot water poured over. So it's all the flavors are mixed together. Luna.
She knows we're talking about her.
I know.
Dan, I've not ever tried to sell a Chihuahua to Taco Bell.
Chihuahua cheese is actually a thing.
Chihuahua cheese.
Yeah, it's from the region of Chihuahua.
Huh. Okay.
You guys are gonna get a little tour of my house. Here we go. This is our
because you recently moved, right?
Just recently moved. Yeah, this
to
is
a
my
new town or a new city. Yeah.
Philadelphia. Luna's just gonna get all the treats tonight. That's upstairs.
She is fancy. I know, right?
So there we go. It's such a mess right now. I was like trying to find.
She's a sheepadoodle.
She's a sheepadoodle. She's the most spoiled sheepadoodle in 7 counties.
So that's part like sheepdog, the big fuzzy long haired
sheepdog. So like the cartoon older sheepdog. Yeah, it's half that, half poodle.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you have any dogs? I forgot to ask.
I have 4 dogs.
You have 4 dogs?
I do. I have all of them, but one are pit bulls.
Okay.
The other one, the one that's not, he's about 12 pounds. He's a little bitty dude. But I have a solid white. She's the only one that's full blood pit. She's solid white. I have a blue brindle. He's blue with like tan and black brindle stripes.
I love the blue dogs. They're so
cute. I do too. And he's half English bulldog, half pit bull. So he's short and wide.
Yeah.
He's not very tall, but I bet he weighs.
But he probably has a longer snout, so it's probably easier for him to breathe.
It is. Yep. He's got a longer snout.
Yeah.
Yep. And then he's a pit mix with something. I don't know. He was a stray.
Right.
Yeah, and that's it.
Do
That's
they
the
just
4.
run your life?
Yeah, they do. They really do.
Oh
They run it. Yeah. And they are so spoiled. It's nuts.
Oh my God,
But I
this dog
love it.
owns me. She owns me. She has me
Yeah.
so well trained. I mean, I just got up and got her a treat
In the middle of a live show.
in the middle of a live show.
Yeah.
I mean, usually she doesn't do this. I think she knows that I'm not running it. I think
Yeah.
she can sense that I'm just a guest. I'm a lowly guest. Oh man.
Yeah, and like I have 4, and they're all inside dogs.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even like to think about them dying, but after they're gone, I won't have that many inside dogs again.
I can imagine.
That was a lot of my ex-wife's doing, and I ended up with all the dogs, which is great because they grew up out there on our property, and they would have just been heartbroken if they'd have split up. But yeah, I'll never have 4 inside dogs again. It is ridiculous around the house.
I can imagine. I was watching my friend's hound for a weekend, and my house cleaner was like, "Oh my God, I had to, like, this is the vacuum afterwards." And thank God Luna doesn't shed. I don't know how you handle it.
Lots of vacuuming.
Yeah.
And I don't have carpet, so that's good. It's all like vinyl, kind of like linoleum.
Yep.
So it vacuums up real easy. But yeah, I vacuum. And that's what I said. And they've grown up inside, so I can't just boot them outside now, you know?
Yep.
Yeah, they don't show emotes. I don't know what's up with that. It's crazy. It shows up whatever. So on Twitch, you can do the emotes, which are different than emojis. And it just that's what it comes up as, like the name of the
emotes.
Yeah. Emotes. Yeah.
Oh my God. So I was texting with a client today, and he has an Android and I have an iPhone, right? And so on iPhone, do you have an iPhone, Chris?
I do.
Okay, so you know how if someone texts you, you can kind of hold down and then you get a choice of reactions, and there's a heart, there's a thumbs up, there's a thumbs down, there's the exclamation points, and then there's the ha ha. So I always, if it's not something that I need to respond to right away, I want them to know that I saw it. I think the thumbs up's kind of passive aggressive. So I always just do the heart. And normally he used to tell me that, like, whenever I did that, it would say, Katie McManus has hearted your message or has liked your message.
Yeah.
But it writes it out and puts it in parentheses.
Right. It does. Yeah.
So it doesn't anymore. But they changed it. They changed it to, David, they changed it to the happy face that has like the heart eyes, which like I don't use that. I think that comes across as flirty, and like Android is going to create some really weird miscommunications, because I can just imagine like a boss and a subordinate are like messaging each other, and someone thinks they're hearting a message, and what they're doing is they're doing the googly eyes, like, hi. And then this other person's gonna be like, oh my God, they love me. They love me. Maybe something's gonna happen.
Yeah, I know, right? Your client that's been secretly crushing on you for a minute is going to be like,
no.
It's happening. It's happening.
He was so excited that he finally got the thing. He thought he was getting the emoji that I was doing. And I'm like, that's not the one that I was doing. So I took a screenshot of the ones that I have the options for, because he doesn't have an iPhone.
Yeah.
He didn't even know what my options were.
Yeah. It's so weird. Like, I don't even, if I know somebody's got an Android, I don't even react to it.
Right.
Because it just comes across. It's like, what's the point? Chris Hennessy liked whatever. So yeah, I don't know.
Your opinion matters.
It does matter. So yeah, some more emotes. Brain slug.
Oh my gosh.
So you have an interesting story that you hinted around at in a post last week.
Which one? In my post or in my live last week?
Oh no, it was on your live. It was on.
Yeah.
Your live.
Well, it was funny. I had John Spears on my live.
It was on. Yep.
And we're both coaches, and one of the things that the coaching industry really pushes is personal responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
So responsibility for how relationships go, and for how everything goes in your life. And I'm all for it. Like, we're all personally responsible. And also a big blind spot in the coaching world is that there are actual harmful humans out there, you know, who, you know, you can't just assume that absolutely everyone out there is out for with good intentions. And I use the example that I don't talk about this often just because it's not relevant to my work, but I actually dated a con man. Like, I obviously didn't know he was a con man when I started dating him, but
Right.
and I want to preface this, like I so appreciate the people who've like gone through this themselves and are like want to share. So I'll share a couple things here, but my only ask for the audience is that if you're hearing this, please don't send me all the details of your experience with a con person, because you never know what's going to be triggering for someone. I think speaking of personal responsibility, we all have to be responsible for sharing our trauma in really thoughtful ways.
And just so to preface that, I did ask Katie before the show, like,
No,
is this a triggering thing? Like, do we not need to
no,
bring this up?
Yeah.
So,
So yeah, so I was with this man for about 5 years, or no, 5 years, 5 months. This is enough to cause enough damage. It's like literally had to escape him in the middle of the night with my best friend's help. And you know, he told me, and this is, you know, hindsight's 2020, you know, that his ex-wife was crazy and all this stuff. And he had a very compelling story. He had convinced a lot of their mutual friends that she was also crazy. So they were kind of backing up his story in a way that only a con man can orchestrate. And after a couple months, like people started pinging me like, does this guy, his name is Justin, does Justin owe you money? And I was like, yeah, he does. And I was like, does he owe you money? And they're like, yeah, he does. And he had racked up hundreds of thousands of dollars on people's credit cards, drained some people's bank accounts. You know, he was a former financial advisor for Morgan Stanley. So like, and he got fired from Morgan Stanley, but no one knew that. So he was just basically like saying, oh, well, I can save you money on your taxes, or I can do this or whatever. Like, let me see your papers. And so people would just give it to him. And he was very charming. He was British, you know, just had everything, you know, it was very charming. You know, you just got everyone to be his friend and all that stuff. So I actually reached out to his ex-wife and we started comparing notes, and it was insane. I actually downloaded my whole texting history with him and sent it to her. To like, so that because they were still in the process of their divorce when he and I started dating, and they had a custody battle, and I ended up actually testifying. I gave like a 34-page document of all this evidence that he, you know, is emotionally, mentally abusive, of him treating his kids poorly, you know, alcohol use, some evidence that he was using like cocaine and stuff. All the things. And so she ended up getting full custody of the kids, and he actually had to flee the US.
Wow.
And yeah, it was insane. I actually ended up coordinating a lot of his friends, former friends, because, you know, he screwed them all over. And I'm now friends with them. We check in with each other every so often. You know? Like,
I mean, that kind of transcends the whole jealousy X thing. Like,
well, and
you
it wasn't
realize,
jealousy at that point. It was just like, oh my God, this person's really dangerous.
right. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not,
yeah.
No, it's not the whole. It's like, oh, I never was like, nobody's really an ex because you weren't really dating.
Right. And I say this as someone like, I'm friends with a lot of my ex-boyfriends.
Yeah.
You know, we'll hop on the phone and talk for an hour. You know, hopefully anyone I date is like okay with that. But, you know, I'm not the kind of person who's ever been jealous of like them going on and having a great life after we're not together anymore. But this one guy, he was just absolutely insane. Yeah, God, I'm trying to think. It was funny. So I had to get a restraining order against him once I supplied some information to his ex-wife because he was pretty dangerous, right? And so I went to court with her to represent, you know, with her divorce, and she actually served him my restraining order papers, which for her, she escaped with her life. That was like the most empowering moment for her. It was so incredible.
That's crazy. That's a Lifetime movie.
Yeah, I mean, it actually. So one of his former friends writes for Lifetime, And he actually did make a movie out of this situation. He had to change the gender roles because Lifetime likes the lead person to be a woman. So the Lifetime movie, I forget the name of it, but the main character is a woman and she's a con woman.
Okay.
But the story is the exact same.
That's crazy.
I haven't watched it though because I know it'll be way too triggering. Also, I don't want to see what the guy version of me is. Like, it was a little weird, you know.
Bet he had smaller boobs than you.
Yeah, he did have smaller. True. Yep. If someone were to make a movie about your life, what would they make it about?
Holy crap, man.
A snippet or the overall arc of your life, would it be a moment? What would it be?
It would, I mean, cop turned drug addict, felon, inmate would make a pretty interesting
I didn't realize
movie.
you were a cop before all that.
I was a cop before, yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I played for both. I tell everybody I played for both teams, so I get like, I kind of have a unique insight into being a felon. Because I'm not quite so bitter at the criminal justice system, maybe because I knew I had it coming, but also because I see the struggles of understaffed and no funding and no training and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So I've lived both sides of it. I played I was in law enforcement for 3 years, and then I was doing drugs and messing up for probably 3 years after that. 2.5 years after that.
Were you still working in law enforcement, or did you leave?
No, I left. Yeah. Okay. I got in trouble and they arrested me one day when I showed up for work.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I did the whole call me in the office, give me your badge and gun, like that whole spiel.
But they arrested you on top of it?
Yeah, and they arrested me, took me to jail. Yeah, it was a little nuts.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's a movie that I would watch too.
Yeah.
Now, if you don't mind me asking, when you're incarcerated, did you feel safe, or did you feel targeted by other inmates because you were a former cop?
So when I got to the intake unit, I had to write out a statement and sign it. I had to go to the Safe Prisons office. Every prison unit has a Safe Prisons coordinator. I had to go to the Safe Prisons office, or the Safe Prison Officer's office, write out a statement, say I wasn't in fear of my life. I don't want to be in protective custody. Otherwise, they'd just put me in a single cell, and I'd have done my time sitting there by myself.
Yeah.
And I knew I did not want to do that. That would have been a miserable, long. Yeah. I knew I didn't want it. So, but because I was an ex-cop, they put me on a unit that was considered like a PC unit. They had a lot of ex-cops, ex-TDC guards, ex-lawyers, judges, a lot of ex-gang members. So TDC, the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, has a program. So if you get confirmed as a gang member, they automatically put you in SEG. Okay. Then you can go through a process to get out of SEG. It's called GRAG, Gang Renouncement and Disassociation. Okay. It's a long process. You're under investigation for like a year before you can ever go to the program. When you get out of it's a 9-month program. When you get out of it, they put you on an easygoing unit for, 2 or 3 or 4 years. Let everything cool down. Make sure, nobody's got a hit out on you and you're not getting your ass whooped every day for leaving or whatever. Right. So it's just and you would think with a bunch of ex-gang members on the unit, because some of them are faking to get out, to get out of SEG, but you'd think with a bunch of ex-gang members, it'd be kind of rowdy, but it's really not, because most of them don't want to go back to SEG. Right. Some of them have been back there for 10 or 15 years, man, so it was a super chill, super laid back unit. Like there was a bunch of old guys there, probably in their 70s and 80s, wheelchairs, walkers, canes. Like it was a really chill unit. Like I was not scared at all.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hopefully no one is ever in a situation. I mean, I know this isn't the truth, but
right.
If you don't have the power to control your safety, hopefully it's a safe environment nonetheless.
Yeah, and they've done a lot to improve that. It can still be rough,
Yeah.
but they've done a lot to improve it over the past 10 or 15 years. It really kicked off with PREA, the Prison Rape Elimination Act. It actually
Mhm.
took place in Texas, but it went nationwide.
Right.
A guy named Ruiz was getting raped all the time and beat up and all that kind of stuff. And he sued the state of Texas because they had him in an unsafe environment, and he won. So that forever changed the laws regarding safe prisons in nationwide.
Yeah.
There's still people getting raped, there's still people getting beat up, but it's not anywhere near what it was pre 2000,
Right.
probably.
Right. Thank God.
Yeah, I know. Like you hear horror stories, guys have been locked up for 30 or 40 years of what it was like back in the 70s, and you're just like 70s, 80s, and up into the 90s. It was just like, oh my God.
Yeah. I don't understand as a developed nation how we can be so irresponsible with lives no matter what someone's done.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Like, they're there. Like, look, everybody thinks that prison shouldn't be comfortable. I'm not saying you should have, a purple mattress and, all the luxuries and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But losing your freedom is the punishment.
Yeah.
Not making shit just as miserable as possible while you're there.
No.
There still should be a level of decency. You know what I mean? Clean quarters, decent food, which is not, the food's crazy. But anyway, losing your freedom is a punishment. Not let's make it miserable and you sleep on the floor and you're covered in roaches and all that kind of craziness. Feeding you slop, that's not the punishment.
No. And what does that do for rehabilitation?
Absolutely nothing.
Like if you're hoping for that person to be able to get out and be a functioning member of society and to be able to contribute and to feel at all secure in staying out of prison, there has to be some kind of program that they can put themselves through and keep themselves intellectually stimulated and have some semblance of relationships and support.
Yeah, exactly. And there are programs you can go through. You can go to college. You can go to trade school, which I'm not a huge proponent that a degree is necessary for what you want to do in life.
Me neither.
But you could always tell the guys that were in college in prison, like it is an amazing thing for those guys because it teaches them to think and it kind of shifts the way they start looking at things. Just because of the routine of it, having to do the work. So in that aspect, like I'm a big proponent of college in prison because it gives you something to do for one thing that's productive. And we've turned this into an Ending the Stigma show, which is okay. Wrong show for this, but that's all right. But yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. 100%. And you can go to trade school. If you don't want to college, you can go to trade school, learn a trade for when you get out.
Yeah.
There's even a program where if you're exactly right. You never know what's going to happen. So I did a thing. Yeah. It's a really cool program where if you've got a lot of time, like you have to have at least 10 years before you're eligible for parole to go through this program. But they send you, it's on one unit. They send you to, it's the Darrington unit. Southwest Baptist Theological Seminary comes in and free of charge. You get, I don't remember what the degree is in, but you get a full 4-year bachelor's degree for free from an accredited school. And when you get done, they send you to other units to be basically, they call them field ministers, but you're basically working for the chaplain, helping him do whatever he needs to do.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So they give you a free degree and then you go to a unit and you have a job that actually is meaningful, not, throwing food on a plate.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's a really cool program they have. There are some cool programs, but it's just, you got to volunteer for them. They don't make you. And you got to stay out of trouble to be able to do it.
Right.
And if you're on a rock and roll unit, sometimes that's hard to do.
I can imagine. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah. So I would totally watch that movie. Just back to the
Oh man. DJ is all about ending the stigmas and breaking stigmas. She would totally watch it. Netflix, right?
We've gone from food reduction to
Yeah,
into the
to
criminal
common to criminal justice story.
Where should we go next, guys? What do you want to hear about?
Hey, Emil. Emil, not Emil. Emil, my bad, dude. He was a guest on Ending the Stigma 2 weeks ago, something like that. 2 weeks ago. Yep, 2 weeks ago. So yeah. What else did we say we were going to talk about? Business coaching, moving to a new city. What's that been like for you?
Well, thank God I have a dog. And the dog park has honestly been where I've made all my friends.
Okay.
And it's just, so my move was really weird because I gave up my apartment in San Francisco in August of 2019 to travel for a year. And wrong year to do it. So like bopped around the world for 6 months. And then come March, I just happened to be visiting my parents on Cape Cod. And then the world shut down. So then I was just, in my 30s living with my parents for a year.
Yay. Nothing says successful business coach like living with mom.
But it was actually like the best gift in the world. My parents and I are really close and they do drive me nuts. Like everybody's
parents. Yeah.
But we have a great relationship. And so we didn't murder each other. Like they're still walking around. They're not buried in the background yard or anything. But it was cool because, well, moving anywhere in the pandemic, I was going to move to a new city regardless. And then what do? You're not allowed to be with anyone or talk to anyone. And, everything shut down. I just saw that as like a recipe for depression. So
yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
So you moved from the West Coast to the East Coast.
Yeah. So,
did you grow up on the West Coast or did you just end up there?
I was born in near Berkeley in California.
Okay.
And when I was 12, we moved to Cape Cod. And then when I was 22, I moved back to San Francisco.
Okay.
And then when I was
okay, so you're kind of both.
I'm bi-coastal. Yeah. Bi-coastal.
Okay.
Let's just go with that. Yeah.
Okay.
And my plan now is I'll probably spend a couple months in the summer in San Francisco just because I hate the heat.
Oh,
I'm just like the Wicked Witch of the West with hot weather. Just can't do it.
Does it get hot up there?
Yeah. So this is the crazy thing with global warming. Cape Cod used to be like a very moderate, 75 degrees in the summer and breezy. And you'd want to bring a sweater to the beach. Now it's consistently high 80s, super humid. It's uncomfortably hot and none of the houses are built with air conditioner.
So now that sucks. That does suck. But those of us in Texas, whenever people in the north start talking about it was 88 today, we're laughing at you.
Oh, totally. We're not used to it.
Yeah, you're not exactly.
Right.
That sucks. So they don't build them with air conditioner. I was talking to Alex Hall. You know Alex?
Yeah. Love Alex.
They don't have air conditioner over there either.
Oh, no.
And so we're like, bro, what do we have to do to take up a collection and get y'all a window unit, at least to put in your bedroom, man? To send you a window unit. You can't get them over there apparently or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I think, that's a completely different story.
Yeah, I know.
Whatever. But I know I think it's just expensive. And I think people have gotten away with not having them for so long, especially the older generation. They don't want to spend more on the electric bill.
Yeah.
For it. So
who knows? Yeah, please let my electric bill go up in the summer because I keep the AC going.
Well, Philadelphia is supposed to get really hot in the summer. So I'm very happy I have central AC. But this is literally the first place I've ever lived in my life that has central AC.
Really?
Literally. I've never lived anywhere that had central AC because I've never lived somewhere where it's typical to need it.
It's not needed in San Francisco?
Oh, no. You have maybe 4 hot days a year in San Francisco.
Huh.
And they all happen in the fall. The summer is not a warm season.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's my favorite. It's like boots and a scarf weather year round. It's amazing.
Yeah. Huh. I could dig that. Like
Mhm,
my ideal temp during the day is like 60s during the day and
mhm.
40s at night. Like if I
Yep,
could live somewhere like that, I'd
yep.
be happy.
Mhm. No, I'm with you. If you find that spot, we'll go. We'll get a
Yeah.
couple boxes next to each other. Our dogs
Mhm.
can play in the yard. It'll be great. We'll be neighbors.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah, have a gate between the yards where in the afternoons we can just open it and they can run back and forth.
Although Luna will probably teach your dogs her ways of manipulation. You don't want
Like my
that.
dogs are smart. Yeah, Jacksonville, Texas, not Florida. He can. This is Ben Courier. He connected with me, and everybody. And that's how Will Schmerer and I connected too. He
Oh,
saw
no kidding.
Jacksonville in my profile and didn't see the TX, the Texas next
Oh,
to it. And he
but
was like,
you're
"Hey,
in
bro, I'm from
Florida.
Jacksonville too."
Yeah.
And I was like, "I think you got the wrong Jacksonville, but nice to meet you."
I actually didn't know that there was a Jacksonville in Texas until I met you.
Yeah, most people don't. It's a very small town, like 15,000 people.
Yeah, that's small.
Biggest. It's the biggest town in the county. The town I grew up in, 11 miles south of here, has 5,000 people.
Now, where in Texas is it?
East Texas, 2 hours southeast of Dallas,
Okay.
and 2.5 hours almost due west of Shreveport, Louisiana.
Oh, okay. Got it. Okay, because I've driven cross country through Texas before, but I think
Probably.
went through Houston and then up to Austin, and then we headed up to Carlsbad Caverns in New Mexico.
Okay. I was actually born in Houston.
Oh, no kidding. I went to
Yeah.
the Whole Foods there. It was fabulous.
Yeah.
This is what blew my mind. You go into the Whole Foods and you can get a glass of wine or a beer, and you can drink it while you go grocery shopping.
Yes.
That blew my mind coming from a blue state.
Oh, yeah.
Well, in Massachusetts, like it used to be, you couldn't even buy booze on a Sunday.
Yeah.
You can't order an alcoholic beverage in a restaurant until after noon on Sundays.
Yeah. And I think it's still that way here.
Right.
But you
Right.
cannot, like, don't mess around and try and go to the beer store you can buy beer and wine, but you can't buy liquor on a Sunday. Or you may not. Yeah, I think you can buy, I don't even know. Hell, I'm on parole. It's been so long since I've tried to buy
Yeah.
alcohol. I do know all the liquor stores are closed on Sunday, so I think you can't buy liquor for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, every state is so weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, California was the most liberal when it comes to buying anything.
Yes.
Like anything.
Yeah. You can get anything in California. Yeah. Texas is like, yeah, hit the bootlegger, and those were around too. Yeah, like this county just became wet while I was in prison. Like it wasn't even,
Oh, no
it was a
kidding.
dry county. Yeah, we had to leave the county. On the county line, on this side of the county line, there was like 4 or 5 beer and liquor stores that somehow they got zoned where they could sell it.
Mhm.
But other than that, you had to go 30 miles to get any beer. It was
crazy.
nuts.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's good or bad. It's just crazy.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Yeah. I think other countries look at us and they're like, why? Why do you make all these rules? You know?
I know.
Oh my gosh, so funny.
It did. It became a wet county. There are so many connotations to that, DJ. I'm just going to leave that one alone.
Leave it right there.
I'm not going to touch that one. So have you made any new friends? Like anybody you talk to on a semi-regular basis other than at the dog park? Like you go grab coffee with them or something?
So it was funny. I was at the dog park in November, right after I signed my lease and had decided this is where I'm going to be, and was making friends with Ralph's mom and Hank's mom. And it turns out Ralph's mom is a leadership coach named Jessica. And as soon as that came out of her mouth, I'm like, no kidding, I'm a leadership coach. And then this, Hank's mom comes up. She's like, excuse me, guys. My name is also Jessica, and I'm also a leadership coach. So I go to the dog park that has all leadership coaches. But no, it's No, just like
Well,
a
you
lot
moved
of.
into the right neighborhood
I
then.
did. I did. And my neighborhood is so nice. Like one of my neighbors, her son just turned 4 years old. And all he wanted for his birthday, because he doesn't really have any friends because they've been quarantining because his older brother has some health issues.
Mhm.
All he wanted for his birthday was February, and he wanted to go trick or treating. So she organized the whole neighborhood.
You
She dropped
posted
little
that. Was that
cards.
you that
Yeah,
posted that?
yeah.
Yeah.
She dropped little cards in everyone's mail slots, just saying, if you're willing and able, like text me. This is my phone number, and we'll coordinate a time to come by. And it was so sweet. They're just the nicest family.
That is
That's
funny.
basically my whole neighborhood.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
No,
is
I
pretty
lucked
cool.
out. I found like the best spot. I'm a few blocks from the Italian market, which
Okay.
I mean, it's just like it's a year-round farmers market.
Oh,
And they
wow.
have all these amazing little like delis and butchers and fish markets, and it's
See, I
it's
could get behind some place like that.
yeah.
That
Yeah.
you could have like good meat, good vegetables,
Mhm.
mom
Yep.
and pop kind of stuff.
Oh, and they've all been there for like 100 years.
Yeah.
It's fabulous. Yeah. So I'm really happy. And then it's also like an easy drive to see my family. Not too
Mm.
easy. So I'm not going there all the time. I get to go to New York like once a month and down to DC,
Yeah.
and once the world gets back to normal, I'll be heading off to Europe a few times a year too. So
Hell yeah. That's goals right there.
yeah.
I know I'm hungry too. All I had was some snacks before. But I am eating good when I get home. I have a friend that works for the Waffle House. She's a recruiter for them.
Uh-huh.
And she sent me a bag of the Waffle House waffle mix. And so it is good.
You know,
Yes, you can. Actually, the best place I just got that. I was
dead.
legit, yeah. I'm gonna leave that one right there with DJ. Yeah, I know, right? Exactly. That's what I was thinking, DJ. Like that is definitely we need to get if Emo's gonna be popping stuff like that, he needs to be on Twitch for
Oh
sure. 'Cause
my
that's where that
god.
shit lives.
Oh my god.
Hey,
Uh,
it's Nathan. Nathan is my co-host for Ending the Stigma. We co-host it
Nathan,
together. Yeah.
I feel like I infringe on your territory. I'm sorry.
No, it's good. Yeah, Nathan, I know, right?
You beat me up. No.
He shows up every once in a while. Like you gotta I give him hell about it all the time because last year when he didn't have a job, he was all over LinkedIn. He got a job and he bought a house and he's been
Killing it.
remodeling it. And yeah, so he's like non-existent on LinkedIn anymore. Every once in a while, he pops in with a smart ass comment like that, though, just enough to remind you that he pops in for Ending the Stigma and then he gives a smart ass comment somewhere every once in a while. Yeah, it's all good, Emil. It's all good.
Yeah. Well, I have to say, LinkedIn was probably the reason I stayed sane during the pandemic and during the lockdowns.
Mm-hmm.
It just created this beautiful community of humans that I actually like created real, honest to goodness friendships with. And it
Yeah.
gave me that social outlet that I wasn't getting from anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Because like you go to Facebook and it's just fear mongering and people fighting over stuff. And it just, LinkedIn just had that, like that, I get the people who are like, it's not Facebook, but there's like this elevated sense of talking about things where it's not
Mm-hmm.
about opinions. It's more about observations and more about feelings.
Yeah. Yeah. I've made some of my best friends in the world right here.
Yeah.
Like we talk offline,
Yeah.
and like Nathan's one of them. We talk offline. Well, we talk in the LinkedIn DMs, but I mean, still outside of a post or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
We have Zoom parties. Like Amy and I host a Zoom party once a week where people just drop in and we hang out and talk and BS and all that kind of stuff.
Why haven't I been invited?
I make a post every Tuesday afternoon with the
Do
link
you?
to
I
join.
missed it.
Yes.
I'll join. I'll
Yeah.
keep it on tomorrow.
It's at 5 Central, so it would be 6 your time.
Okay. I think I can do that. I can
As a
make
matter
that
of
happen.
fact, I will DM you
I'm just going to make sure.
the link to sign up to get
Yeah.
the Zoom link emailed to you.
Okay. Thank you. I'm
Yeah,
just
because
checking.
that's the way we
I'm
do it
free.
now.
I'm free tomorrow. So
Good. Well,
The
that'll be
last
good.
thing I want to do is make a big deal and then be like, oh, I can't come. Never mind.
Yeah, I know, right? Oh, I hadn't gone to Oklahoma. So this is really bad. A couple weeks ago, we did not have it because Amy was out of town and I had a crap ton of stuff going on. I could have done it, but I was like, look, let's just skip today. She was like, all right. So I didn't do a post. We have a friend, and yeah, Chris has already slid in her DMs. I have a friend in India who we Zoomed 3 or 4 weeks ago and I told her about it. And she was like, oh my God, I want to do that. That's going to be so much fun. You know, she's like 10 hours ahead of us, 10 and a half hours.
No, so it's the
So
middle of the night for her.
she was like, I'm going to set my alarm. I'm going to get up. I'm going to hang out with y'all. Well, she did a post and was like, thankfully she overslept or went back to sleep and didn't do it. But she made a post being how sad she was that she missed it because she overslept. And I was just like, oh, and I was like, I didn't even tell her we canceled it because I was like, we'll see you next week.
Now she's gonna know she's gonna watch this.
Right. Maybe not, because it is well, it's 6 o'clock in the morning there, 6:30 or something.
You just outed yourself, Chris.
I did just out myself.
Oh,
so we're coming up on an hour. So let's do a little bit of promo real quick. Who do I have? Wednesday at 7 Central for Ending the Stigma. My pastor, Randy Sparks, will be on. My pastor has been to prison 4 different times. He was a drug dealer in Houston for years and years and years. He got saved the last time he was in prison. So he's going to come on and tell a little bit of his story. And he's actually he's not real tech savvy. So he was like, Chris, can I just come to your office and sit in one of the offices and do it? So he's going to be sitting right over there looking at me on the show. So that'll be funny. And then this is like the month for coaches, right? So next week I have Rosalind Krieger. She is a coach, and I don't remember what kind, y'all, right off the top of my head. You should have had it pulled up. The week after that is Jacob Roig. He's a business coach too, in California. He was on here earlier. So they just kind of worked out that 3 out of 4 weeks are coaches this month. And actually, you were supposed to be next month, and then my guest for tonight canceled. So I was like, hey, yeah.
I mean, I'm always. Do you know how Tina Fey always ended up on the late night show?
What?
Because she just lives down the street. They'd be like, shit.
Oh, yeah.
Canceled.
Oh, yeah.
Come in again. More than happy to be your Tina.
Yeah, right. I usually have there's a handful of people I can call and be like, hey, and it hadn't happened very often that a guest canceled or something. And I've been like, yo, I need somebody now. Mm-hmm. Can you come on and talk about something?
Yeah. Well,
you just need cash. Need a cash coach. That's kind of what a business strategist coach is, right?
Yeah. Well, a business strategist and coach, so they can work on relationship with money, which I think is what you're talking about. Because if you have a bad relationship with money, there's no way money's coming to you.
Right.
That's just it. You need to do the work to fix that relationship with money, and then you can have success in your business.
What do you define as a bad relationship with money?
You're constantly stressed out about what's in your bank account. You freak out about spending. You splurge without realizing if that fits within your budget. You make a lot of impulsive purchases. You abuse credit cards, not use credit cards. Credit cards aren't necessarily evil, but you abuse them. And you're you don't have a plan to retire at some point.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have that stuff set up.
Mm-hmm.
And you're being avoidant about setting it up. That's where the bad relationship with money comes from. Okay. Also, a bad relationship with money can come up if you have random shit that goes wrong all the time. Your car dies and then your water heater blows and then this happens and that happens and you're never set up for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you get a little
My
Yeah.
relationship, I'm only 3 years clean. My relationship with money is not buying drugs, and that's a damn good
That's a
thing to be
win.
proud of.
That's a win. That's a win. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I am learning on I am building my relationship with money. And I can't blame it all on my ex-wife. My ex-wife liked things that we didn't have the money for, so we
yeah.
fucked our credit cards up.
Right. Well, and relationship with money is not necessarily your credit score,
Right.
right? It's not necessarily the same thing. So, yeah.
Yep. 100%, Darren. Saved him thousands. He's got 5.5 years clean.
Oh, God, yeah, I can imagine.
Yep.
Expensive.
It does get expensive.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah. Cool.
Well, cool. Well, Katie, I still don't know what we talked about tonight.
I know. We bounced all over the place.
We did bounce all over the place, but that's kind of the beauty of live streaming, right? Like we kind of talked about that as a network building tool whenever I taught it or spoke at your training. Like you don't always have to have a set topic to talk about something. Yeah, DJ and Darren are like tight like white on rice.
And Lauren, you checked your bank
account. Yeah, I know it.
Yeah,
I know. Exactly.
Nathan, but you're remodeling your house.
Yeah, exactly. Set up straight to Lowe's. But yeah, that's what we were talking about at the training. Is it doesn't always have to have a set topic. You can use it to build your network.
Right.
It doesn't always have to be topical. You can just have fun and hang out.
Yeah. Well, thank you. And I was like so excited for this because normally my lives are very structured and I'm talking about one thing and it's just me, or I'm interviewing someone about what they're up to. And so this is so much fun.
Yeah. She's on Twitch, Darren. That's where she's at right now. She is on Twitch. And that's kind of how I've envisioned this going is like, I know we talk a little bit about coaching, but then I figured we just shoot the shit and that'd be it. You know what I mean? We just have fun and hang out.
I love this. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming on. All right, guys. Damn money.
About money.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, he had to soften that with those LOLs. Make sure you knew he was kidding.
I'm from New England. I understand sarcasm. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I know. Like Darren, I don't do anything on my Twitch. Like I do absolutely nothing to push it. It's there because LinkedIn mobile sucks. So if somebody wants to go over to Twitch and watch it or YouTube, they can. So yeah. Thanks, DJ. I appreciate you coming by and supporting. Thank you, everybody that showed up. So this is like crazy. We started off the show. We had a lot of people here. It taked all the way down where I had nobody watching on LinkedIn on my side. Everybody was coming in on your side, and now it's back up to where it was whenever we left, whenever we started. So I don't know if they really left or if LinkedIn was glitching or whatever.
Yeah, LinkedIn never gives me accurate reporting at all.
And we talked about that. Like, so for those of y'all that don't, I know we're going over a little bit, but for those of y'all that don't know, like there's an eyeball on my dashboard that tells how many people are watching. It says 2. I know I've got 2 people on Twitch and at least 3 people on LinkedIn because they're commenting, but LinkedIn says I have 7 people watching.
Right.
So like, and then I've gotten my restream analytics at the end of every stream and I'm like, I know I had more people than that because they were commenting.
Right. Yeah. On StreamYard, because I haven't really delved into restream totally yet, is like they'll say 0, 0, 0. And then I'll have like 10 people in the comments.
Yeah. You're like, this is not right.
It's not correct.
Do that. And I think it really like I should have looked at my analytics. I did a test stream on Friday with Julie. I was testing something. What was I testing? Oh, I'm going to be a guest on Julie's show tomorrow. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that. I'm going to be a guest on Julie's show tomorrow at 7 Central for Joyful Julie Live. She's going to put me in the hot seat and ask me all the questions. Exactly. So what I was testing out was I was going to be a guest on her show, but I also produce her show. So, or I'm training her to produce. I produce it, but I mean, and while I'm doing it, I'm training her.
Right.
So I joined her team on Restream, which is
Mm-hmm.
another cool feature. As a producer,
Yeah.
you don't even have to have a password to your clients' accounts. They just you join their team. But I wanted to make sure I could pair my accounts and not sign in with the guest link, but be in under her team, right?
Right.
So I'd be not even in my account anymore. I'm in her account.
Mm-hmm.
So I did that, went into her account, started the stream, and it was still broadcasting to my channels because it had already paired them.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So like
That's
that,
so cool.
I thought we were going to be on for 10 minutes. We sat there and chilled. People were dropping in and out. Chelsea Verrett joined us on stage.
Yeah.
We chilled for an hour and a half, just shooting the breeze, having fun.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it was so cool. I don't remember where I was going with that story. Oh, streaming to just LinkedIn. We were just to LinkedIn.
It's been good. I'm not drinking. I'm drinking non-alcoholic beverage.
Yeah, I promise I'm not drinking.
Oh.
Yeah. So I didn't even think about trying to match those numbers up. But I think when you pair your channels, like it messes Restream up because it doesn't ever give you, yeah, I don't know. Or whenever you do more, when you multi-stream, when you stream to more than one channel, I think it messes it up.
Yeah, it just can't do the math. All the people that join us, it can't do the math to add.
Yeah, all the people that join us, they can't do the math. Yeah. Yep. Twitch. Yep. That's a Twitch comment for sure. Katie started drinking. All right, I'm really going this time, y'all. See y'all tomorrow night on Julie's show, Joyful Julie Live, Wednesday night for Ending the Stigma. Katie, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Chris.
We will see y'all next time.